Hi everybody. Hello everybody. Today I'm going to show you a tutorial of how to make this dangly choker. You've probably seen it in a video, me wearing it in a video that I just made for announcing the winner of the Summer Breeze giveaway contest. And I got a lot of people asking me about that, if I'll do a tutorial, where did I get it, how did I make it. Okay, well, I made it. And I'm going to give you, basically, I'm not going to make it in front of you, but I will show you how I did it. Okay, so the first thing I want to let you know is this is a choker and it's 16 inches round. So if you have a wider neck, your best bet is to probably make your own out of some wire. Now I'm going to show you the choker. They come in a package. You can get them online. You could even find these at the craft stores. They're these, if you can see, with the ball on the end, and then this has the hook like that, and so it just basically goes like this, where you put that and then unhook. So what you can do is, let me make sure this, I got a new light, see? I finally got lighting. And the ball will unscrew. Forgive my nails, I haven't done them yet. I'm going to do them after. But the ball will unscrew and then it'll screw back. So you can unscrew the ball and you would thread the beads through here. Now you can get some pretty good sized beads, as you can see by the beads right there. They're not small beads, but they're not huge. So getting back to the choker part itself, like I said, you can buy these at a craft store. You could usually buy a few. They usually maybe come 3 to 6, or you can go online on Amazon, eBay, where you buy them in bulk too, as well as other places. Now, if they don't have to be silver, it's not real sterling silver, but you know, because you're not going to even see it but for the back. And this is the back. I'm going to make sure you can see. You want to leave a little space, because if your beads are all the way up to there, you won't be able to hook the ball part underneath the hook. So you want to make sure there's a space. Now if your beads keep riding up, all you have to do is get a little glue, a little jewelry glue or whatever glue you might want that dries clear, and just move your last bead up, put a little glue with a Q-tip on there, and then slide your bead back and do the same on the other side, and that'll prevent it from moving. Or if you have bead stoppers, they're basically little tiny beads and that shouldn't move, okay? So that's an option. And then all I did was I picked colors. Now I have a few of these containers that I got at craft stores. And let me push this back. And what it is got multicolored beads. I'm going to move that away. It's got multicolored beads and multi-size beads, from like really tiny. I'm going to open the lid so you can see. See what I mean? It's got like really tiny to big. You're not going to always find matching ones, so there's going to be a bit of noise because my air conditioner is going to kick in. It's hot. Summer is here. So here are the different colors, and I buy these you could buy them at Michael's and Hobby Lobby and basically anywhere. They have these little containers. It was $9.99, as you can see by the price, but it was on sale. They usually are, or you can get a coupon for a discount. So that's when they come all different colors. So what I did with this was pick out the coloring I wanted to match the shirt that you'll see on that video that I wore. It had a lot of greens, and I wanted that effect. And I since it was summerish, I wanted a few oranges in there. So I picked out the bead colors. You're not going to find matching beads in here. They're all mixed. So buy a few of these. That's what I have like 4 or 5 of these. And you're just going to put the colors that you most want, okay? Now before you string them in, or I should say before you put your beads into that, you're going to want to see the length that you want from the middle, okay? So the middle one, figure it's about 4, I made it 5 inches because you're going to want to make a hook at the end, and I used some wiring for that. You can use 15 gauge to 14 gauge wire, and I just made the little loop at the end. I don't have my wire with pliers with me, but you make a little loop at the end, and then you're going to put a jump ring. Get your jump rings. You probably want a medium jump ring. You don't want a huge one because you don't want them sliding over your beads. So keep in mind when you're putting them to put a big bead and not the littler beads, because if you put the littler beads, the jump ring will slide right over. So I hope you can see this. This is the size of the jump ring you're going to want. Maybe I'll put them on here. Where are they? Can't really see them. See? That's the size of the jump ring. They're not extremely small, but they're not really big. They're the average size jump ring. So you make the loop at the end, then you string your beads. There doesn't have to be any rhyme or reason to it. Different sizes, different colors, as you can see right here. Just to your liking. And they don't all have to match or go in sync unless you want them to. And I hung one of these, and I got a box of these at Hobby Lobby. They're like little leaves. Let me zoom in. And they're really nice. They're the same on either side. They're like a greenish patina type thing. And you can hang them in the bottom of your earrings or bracelets, anything you want. And it comes in a nice box. I don't remember how much they were, but I got them at Hobby Lobby. And like I said, these beads you can get anywhere. So you use your jump rings. You're going to make these. Figure you want 5 inches because you're going to curl the ends and make a little loop on the bottom to hang this. And you can get a little jump ring again to hang it so it dangles, because if you put it right in the hook, it's not going to have a free-flowing dangle. Then these, I just cut some wires and I made sure they were each the same length, or better yet, what I did on these particular ones is I used head pins. They're just straight little wire pins with a little head at the bottom. Just looks like a regular pin. I should have grabbed them out of my case. Just looks like a regular pin, and I cut what I needed to, I looped the ends. I looped the ends of them. And I did them together because I wanted them the same length. And then before I made the loop, I put my beads on it. Then together I saw how far I wanted it to hang from here. And then I made a loop, put a jump ring, and then I did the same. These are all head pins. I did the same, and I cut them at the same time because you can cut the head pins. They're only wire. And then I made the loop, but I did 2 at the same time because I wanted to make sure they were the same length, because nothing's worse than having it all done, putting it on, and then noticing nothing's the same length, and you have to undo all the beads again. So once you have this part done, put that in front of you, make sure everything's level, everything lines up properly. Then you're going to want to get your choker. Now if you're not going to use one of these chokers with the ball at the end so you can thread it, be sure you don't lose this ball. Like I said, the ball does unscrew, and then you just put it back. Now you might get one of these chokers with 2 balls on the end, and they just wrap around, but it's going to be a bit of weight, so it might pull it down. Now if your neck is bigger than 16 inches, because the typical choker's usually just 16 inches, your best bet is to get some wire, 15 or 14 gauge wire, because it's the thickness you want. because it's got to be sturdy enough. Any thinner and your wires probably break. So about 15 to 14 gauge wire, and you make your own choker. Now you can do the end where you just bend the ends, like one would go, you can bend your ends, one would bend this way and the other one would, you bend them like this and the other one would bend the other way, and then you just hook them into each other. I think I showed you that. Or you can just make a loop and tie a clasp on the back like I have in my other ones. You could tie a loop on one end and then on the other you loop it, and then you put a clasp on one end and a bigger jump ring on the other, so you could just shut it with a clasp. So you have different options if you didn't want to use a choker and you wanted to make your own choker. Okay, so once you've got everything all set, your main choker, you see how you want this to fall. Like I said, this from here is about 5 inches, but this is going to be 5 inches until you cut it. Then this is going to be like 3.5 to 4, and I made it longer by hanging the leaf charm. And then these are just going to be like 3.5 inches to 4 inches, and then 3 inches, and so on. This is probably just like 1 inch, okay? And that's all you're going to do. And you're going to string your beads, make your loop at the end, put your jump ring on, little size jump ring. And then when you're putting your beads on, after you remove the ball of your choker, put your beads on, and then you figure where you're going to put these dangly things. So I knew that I had to stop right here, and I put one of these in. You're gonna put the smallest one in first, then a bead, then the second smallest, then a bead, then the third smallest, the bead, then the longest one, and then a bead, and you just repeat that process. So remember to do that, and then finish your beads up and make sure you leave that space on either side, because if you don't have that space, you're not going to be able to, because the beads are going to go right here and you won't be able to close it. So make sure you leave some space. Someone's going to see it. It's going to be behind your head. And put a little glue right here. Slide your bead back. Do that to the first bead. Okay? Or get a bead stopper so it won't budge. And that's how I made it. It's simple. It's easy. All you need is the wire chokers or some wire to make your choker. If you're going to make your choker, you really don't need clasp and hook. You just have to make those two hooks, one bent one way and one bent the other, and you can latch them. But if you don't want to do that, like I said, make a loop on each end, put a big jump ring on one side, and then connect a clasp on the other. You're going to need some mixed beads. If you prefer a certain color, then you could buy the beads on the string. But I like odds and ends. It's kind of like the boho mixed media look. And you're going to need some jump rings. If you're going to make your own choker, you might want a variety pack, or just like the average size jump ring and the average larger ones. Okay? And that's it. And then if you want to hang some kind of a charm on the bottom, this one was a leaf. This is more of a nature-y color, summer boho with the greens and the yellows and the orange. But you can make just black and red if you just want it that way. You can make them like orange and yellow, or blue, or black and white. Any colors you want. That's up to you. And that's all you do. It's really quick. I think I made this. If it wasn't for my mess up where I forgot to string these first, I was going to hook them in afterwards, but that just doesn't work. It's better to put them in while you're going so they're locked nice and tightly between the beads. Then I would have been done in 10 minutes, except it took me about 20 minutes. So that's it. And it's fast, it's easy, and it's affordable. And that's the choker. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments, and I will see you on my next video.